Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie. If this is your first time coming across one of my videos, welcome. Here on YouTube, I discuss things like limiting beliefs, helping people overcome their limiting beliefs, build self-esteem, build healthy relationships, learn to be more confident, and overcome whatever may be holding them back in order to be the best version of themselves, go after their dreams, stop doubting themselves, that type of thing. So, if you're interested in that type of content, please hang around for the rest of the live. And in today's video, I'll be discussing codependency. What codependency is, how people become codependent, what it looks like in relationships, and the steps you need to become more independent and interdependent in relationships. So, before I go into the steps of how you can stop being codependent and find healthy relationships, I want to quickly define what codependency is. So, I did a quick Google search and it says codependency refers to an imbalance in relationships where one party enables the other's self destructive behavior. And I would like to add this as well. This is my own take on this. So the party that enables the other self-destructive behavior often takes responsibility for the whole relationship, keeps the relationship afloat, does all the work to make sure that the other person is happy in the relationship. So they're the extreme giver, while the others, the self-destructive party who is enabled, is sort of the taker. They just take from the giver, and it's almost like a one-sided situation. Um, the both parties are heavily invested in each other and they almost need each other to function. So while one person needs to the other person to give to them to feel sort of validation, the other person needs to be giving. So I keep saying other person. So person A is the taker, so they just take, and person B is the giver, and they're always giving, and they both find a sense of validation in their respective roles, and it's a very unhealthy, almost self-destructive relationship dynamic. And the self-destructive behavior in person A, the receiver, could be anything. It could be alcoholism, drug abuse. They could even be a narcissist, or they could have some sort of they could be extremely insecure and need the other person to give to them, or could have low self-esteem. Anything of the sort. It could be anything. And it could be the same for the extreme giver. They could have low self-esteem and need the other to be giving to the other person, or feel needed by the other person, and so they enable this destructive behavior because then they're needed by their partner. They need it to be rescued. They need to be the rescuer, and they need their partner to be self-destructive so they can come in and save them and rescue and feel needed and feel wanted. So yeah, all of those could be strong indicators of codependency. It's extreme need for other people to feel complete. And it could show up in other ways too, not just relationships, but in families, workplaces, friendships, anywhere where there are people, they could be codependent. If two codependent people find each other, an extreme giver and an extreme taker, it's almost they're drawn to each other. This is how it's almost the same as the dynamic between a narcissist and an empath, where the narcissist takes everything and the empath gives, is always giving. And so they're drawn to each other in a very destructive way. So, what are some signs that you might be codependent? This is from the perspective of the empath, the giver. What are some signs that you might be codependent? Well, for one, you find yourself making sacrifices for your partner, but they would never do the same for you. You also feel like you need other people's approval or the approval of your partner to feel validated. Maybe your sense of self-worth or your identity is wrapped in helping other people, right? Who are you? I am a kind person who likes to help other people, but it's often, and which is a good thing, but it's often to the detriment of yourself. You leave yourself behind. No one is taking care of you. You're not taking care of you. Your main objective is to be there for other people in an extreme way, where you're not taking, and you're also enabling. It's not just taking care of, it's enabling and coddling, and where they can't even fend for themselves. But you might prefer it that way because then they can come to you. I know this can be triggering, and I'm not calling you out or anything, but I'm just trying to help you notice some patterns you may have, so you can help, I can help you overcome this, so you can, find healthier relationships, healthier attachments with two people who are almost responsible for themselves, and so can into a relationship, healthy partnership, healthy relationship, and can be there for each other in a healthy way. Um, yes, your sense of purpose or identity may be wrapped in helping other people. You may have an unhealthy attachment to your partner, maybe a distorted sense of self-image, feeling like you don't know who you are. Perhaps you have difficulty communicating your needs to your partner, right? You have trouble asking for help, telling people what you need, but you're always the first person people go to when they need help, when they need someone to call, but you never ask the very same people for your help when it's your turn, when you need help. Um, you deal with it on your own. You never ask for it. You may have poor boundaries, right? Or maybe you don't trust yourself. You have lack of self-trust. You doubt yourself a lot. Or again, as I've mentioned before, enabling. You may enable some behaviors that may not be the healthiest. You may be struggling with low self-esteem. Or find yourself addicted to relationships. You jump out of one relationship to another because you feel like you need to have someone to take care of. You're overly dependent on your partner. So these are just some of the signs of codependency, and you can look back at your own life and see, am I like this? Do I behave in this way? Or perhaps you found yourself to this video because you relate to a lot of these points, because you're codependent and you're trying to overcome it, which I commend you for, because that is the first step. I want you to know that you're not alone. Like, I was codependent myself. I was always there jumping in. You know what? Even when I wasn't needed, right? People would have a problem over there, and I feel like I have to jump in. It's my duty to go in and rescue and solve the problem. Like, there's a for work situation. They'd be struggling with something, and I would quickly jump in, go in, and be like, "Oh yes, what's this? What's this? What's this? I'm here to help. Let's do this. Let's do it." Like, it had nothing to do with me. It was not my job. It was not. I didn't have to, but I would always do that, to a point where I was doing it for people who would never do the same for me. Also, people started expecting me to go above and beyond for them, for their work, and that wasn't healthy. So you have to, and then lack of boundaries again comes into play here. So you really have to assess yourself and see, where do these behaviors show up in your life. Codependence, it can really be hard on you. The most difficult part is feeling like you're responsible for everyone and everything. Like, if something goes wrong, something just random that has literally can be no one's fault. It's just a thing that has happened, but you take it on yourself. You feel like, you're responsible for that, and you were responsible for fixing it, but it really isn't. It's not your job. And so it can really take a toll on you. So this is how codependency may show up for some of you, but where does it come from exactly, right? Because we behave this way because it supports our beliefs, right? We believe that we're supposed to be there for people. We're supposed to put people first before ourselves. We find our sense of our identity, sense of self, it wrapped in um, helping people, being needed, right? Being needed to be there, being a rescuer. That's where we find our identity. But where do all these beliefs and ideas come from? If you've watched some of my videos, then you know what I'm about to say. Codependency was conditioned in your childhood. I know I say this for a lot of my videos, but it is true. The way we behave as adults comes from our beliefs, right? We operate through our beliefs because that's our manual, that's our GPS, our sense of the rules that we operate through life, how we see through life, right? And so, where do those beliefs then come from? Those beliefs are formed in childhood around our environment. So, if you had a healthy, happy home where your parents showed you adequate love and affection and encouraged and pushed you to be the best version of yourself, then you would have healthy beliefs and you would view yourself in a healthy way, and the world around you is the same. But if it was unhealthy, maybe there was a lot of fear, rejection, uh, maybe you had a traumatic childhood, you weren't seen, you weren't heard, you were ignored. There was alcoholism, narcissistic parents, emotionally unhealthy or dangerous environment, physically unhealthy. There might have been sexual abuse, physical abuse. Any of that could create a set of beliefs that are unhealthy, and therefore, as adults, we operate through those unhealthy beliefs, and they may show up in different ways, like codependency, for example. But all these beliefs are false. They were only a reflection of the adults and the people that were around you when you were growing up. It's a reflection of them, but it's not a reflection of you. And as children, have you ever seen a child who will start speaking the way the parents speak? So if the mother says a certain word, the child will say that word all the time. Or if parents, swear, then the child will start swearing F you or whatever, because children are like that. They mimic the environment around them, right? Because what else are they going to do? You're a child, you don't know what the hell's going on. And your parents, your caregivers, are essentially like gods. You look up to them, and so they give you a sort of template as to how you should operate in the world, so you follow their lead. And if it's a healthy lead, then you turn out healthy. But if it's unhealthy, then you take on a lot of unhealthy beliefs about yourself, about the world, and as an adult you operate off through those, even though as an adult you can look back and see, well, that's not right, that's not how things are done, that's not how it should be, all of that is wrong. But those beliefs are already embedded in you. And so the best way to overcome those beliefs or completely destroy those limiting core beliefs is to go back to them, but as an adult, right? Because you processed them as a child and you didn't know any better, but now you're grown and you know better. Excuse me. You're an adult, you know better. So you can go back and you can relive and reprogram and change those beliefs to something healthier. And it is possible. You can do this at any age. Change your core beliefs. So therefore you have a different set of manuals that you operate off of. Um, because codependency can affect your life in so many ways, right? And it's so hard to overcome codependency if you say, okay, from now on, I'm only going to be in healthy relationships. Um, I'm only going to choose partners who are there for me. But then you end up being drawn to the exact opposite, because no matter how hard on the outside you push for, like you've heard what relationship coaches say, um, choose someone who this, that, and the other. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But if your beliefs do not support that, it won't go anywhere. This is why it's so hard to stop being codependent, because it's embedded deep in your conscious, your beliefs about the world. And you end up neglecting yourself and your needs. You end up being in a relationship where a partner takes advantage of you, or you stay in toxic relationships with toxic partners longer than a person who grew up in a healthy environment would stay in a situation like that. You would, because this is a norm for you. This is what your beliefs support. But let yes, so you end up staying in toxic relationships longer than You should. And red flags, are not red flags. They are the norm because this is what your beliefs support. So, in order to change the codependent behavior, in order to change your behavior and your actions, you need to go to the thinking and the beliefs that support that behavior and change that. Then, when you change those beliefs, you will act differently. And this is the key. This is where the magic is at. Go deep into those beliefs, change them, reprogram your core beliefs, right? Learn what healthy love looks like. Change what you think you deserve in love. Okay? Learn how to put yourself first. Start believing that you are worthy and you are enough as you are, and you do not need to be needed by people to feel worthy. You are already worthy as you are. Build self confidence and self esteem and know your value. Know that you are enough as you are. Change what you think you deserve. Change all your toxic beliefs for you. Go into, what do you think about relationships? Really write that down. Write everything down. You think about your past relationships, your childhood. Like have a whole dedicated diary that you just write all of this down. Try to figure out what your core beliefs about relationships are. Why go to the root. They say the root of the root. Okay, so my ex was XYZ. He was abusive. Why did I stay with him? Well, because I thought he loved me. Why did I think he loved me? Because he used to hit me. When you write that down, question yourself. Get to the root of the root of the root of the problem. And once you get to the root, that is the core belief. And then work at reprogramming that, changing that into something healthy. So the root might be, this is what I think I deserve, or this is what I think, this is the best that I can get. There's nothing better for me. There's nothing. How can there not be anything better, right? How many people on this planet, and you're telling me that your toxic ex or the toxic partner is what you deserve? That couldn't be further from the truth. You deserve so much more. You are worthy of love. You are deserving of love. You have so much to give as a person, and you should be with someone who can give you equal amounts in return, right? What you can give to people they should not validate you, does not equal to the type of love that you should receive based on what you give to people, right? Really go deep into your core beliefs, into what you think you deserve in love, how you see yourself, how you see your partner, and try to remove and change the toxicity from that. That will completely change any codependency behavior and make you independent and be in interdependent relationships and free yourself from toxic relationships. You will not stay around toxic people any longer because you know you deserve more than that. The red flags will be red flags and you will save yourself future heartache because you can recognize the toxicity right from the beginning and you won't have to go through a whole relationship of being hurt, being through so much when you recognize the toxicity right at the beginning and you cut it off immediately. You find yourself in healthier, happy relationships with partners who will give to you as much as you give to them. You will find that it's easy for you to ask for what you need from a partner, from family, from friends, from co-workers in life. And you walk away from people and things that no longer serve you. You will not tolerate people who walk all over you. And you won't allow such behavior. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to be notified when I go live again or when I post another video. Until next time, bye.